Okay, I've been away from the Nash for a while. I moved it to the other side. My wife's car needed a brake job and oil change, and neighbor needed some help with a back blade that had cracked some welds and bent. So, and on top of that, winter let loose and I had road grading to do. I was on a grader for a while. So I am back to this mess right here. A year ago, when I picked this block up from the machine shop, I did some preliminary measurements on it. And the piston to bore clearances that I was finding, I measured the top of the bore, center of the bore, bottom of the bore. The bore's all over the place. They're not round and they're not straight. I measured the pistons. The pistons are dead nuts. Manufacturer did a great job with the pistons. I'm going to go through and redo all these measurements so that they're fresh in my head. But I did find in the invoice folder that I got from the machine shop there, the clearance is called out. Clearly, they want a 5 thousandths clearance. They tell me where to take the measurement on the piston. Everything's cool. That's where you'd be the thrust side of the piston, below the ring groove, and it's normal. They're saying 5 thousandths. You look at the numbers I got here. Since the bores aren't concentric, I think what the largest one I have is 3.5 thousandths. I'm going to go through, like I said, remeasure and figure out my best way to tackle this. It's just amazing that the manufacturer tells them what it needs to be. Any standard piston, aluminum in an iron block, should at least be 4 thousandths, and they still couldn't even hit that target. I'm thinking this was money not well spent with them. Hey, the first thing I'm going to do before I start all this, so I got a gauge block on there to make sure that mic is calibrated correctly, and it is. I actually checked it with stare it here too, and it's dead nuts at 3. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to set the mic up to the size called out here. So I'm going to take the piston diameter and I'm going to add the wall clearance, and I'm going to get my cylinder gauge set up for that using the micrometer, and then you'll see how I take the measurements. Okay, what I've done is I got this set to 3.31, and I put the appropriate adapters in this. And it's hard to do this one-handed. I'll do my best. I got arthritis in the ring finger over here, so I can't do a decent grip. That sucks in so many ways. Okay, no, I'm just wasting film. Okay, I've got it zeroed out. Well, you saw it for a second. Okay, I've got it zeroed out. I rock it back and forth and then it bounces off the zero. So now I'm going to measure the bore diameter. I'll do the thrust side first. Okay. This is showing that am at 2000s, undersize. I'll drop down all the way. And so they've done a good job of keeping it undersized all the way down. But then if I turn this thing sideways, bring it up, I'm 1.5 thou. So the bore is not round, perfectly round. Let's see what, go to a random bore here. Okay, there's another one set at 2000s, and that's on the pin side. Another one. What do I got going on here? Okay, 2.5 thou. Mind you, that number should be writing at 5,000s. Let me think about how I'm going to fix this. Well, this is how I'm going to handle it. Just to make sure I wasn't losing my mind with the measurements, I just took a 4/1000 feeler gauge. Mind you, the clearance is supposed to be 5/1000. That piston locked right up at 4/1000. So what I'm going to do is I got myself a nice little hone. I'm going to finger size it to the hole. This little dial at the top, each one of those notches is 1,000 increment. So gonna size it to the hole, turn it 1/1000, cross hatch it, pull it out and measure it, and try to dial this into 5/1000 piston to bore clearance the best I can. Wish me luck. Well, I've been dinking with this first cylinder for about 10 minutes, and what I managed to do is, with it riding on 0, wobble it back and forth. 0 is the exact size I need. So I'm just going to slowly drop this down. So I've got the top part where it needs to be. At the very bottom of the bore, I've got about 2/1000 more to go. So what I'm going to do on the next ones, I'll pull the bottom of this bore into spec, but in the next ones, when I start boring or honing, I'm going to hone at the bottom first and then pull it up. But I'm sitting right at 5/1000 clearance, 4.5, 5/1000 clearance. That's 5/1000 clearance right there. So I just need to finesse the bottom in a little bit. Right there, I'm sitting at 4/1000 clearance. I was reading the scale backwards the last time, so kind of dyslexic. It works out good for being a mechanic. Okay, that bore is 95% done. So what do we got? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. We got an hour and a half. And I should be ready to start doing ring gaps. Keeping my fingers crossed. Okay, I got number 1 dialed in. The last inch of the bore at the very bottom is at 4/1000. I've got it right at 5/1000 all the way up. I don't even want to mess with that. Thou difference at the bottom is good for me. So slide that in. I'm going to click this. About 3/1000 too small in this bore. I'm just going to tighten it up just a little bit. Start giving it some good cross hatch while I'm doing this. want to stop it in the bore. I want it turning while it's coming out. That way I don't have any vertical lines coming up and down. Taking a quick measurement. I took about a half a thou off. So, like I said, it takes about 10 minutes of bore to do this. I don't want to take too much. So I think you pretty much get the gist of what's going on here. Okay, that took another half thou off. I'm at 4 thou clearance. See, for some reason the top is taking more off than the bottom. I'm not going to bore you with what's going on, but I'm going to work this cylinder another few minutes. Okay, I got number 2 cylinder dialed in. I want to show you something. You're supposed to have a 45-degree crosshatch. Now, I did this by hand with that handheld drill. It may not be exactly 45, but you can clearly see that there's a crosshatch in there. This is what the world-renowned machine shop gave me. Okay, this is the high dollar honing that I paid for. And this is what I did in my dirty garage. High dollar machine shop, dirty garage, refrigerator full of beer. Who would you rather take your shit to? Unbelievable. Okay, I just discovered something. So the 0 is good. That's where I want to be, is at 0. Focus. So I'm sitting at 4 thousandths right now. Right after I did this, right after I honed it, it was exactly at 5 thousandths. So what that tells me is the heat generated from the hone caused it to grow a thou. And after it cooled down, I'm at 4 thousandths. So that's good to know. What I decided to do was go to a harsher stone for these bores here. I'm gonna get them dialed in within a thousandths or so, and then I'm gonna switch to the correct stone. Now, all this vertical thrusting up and down with this is wearing my back out. I've got 4 of them that need to be done with the finer stone. I got 2 left tomorrow that I'll do with the coarser stone. Now, if I want to do any indoor vertical or horizontal thrusting later tonight, I need to give myself a break. So, I am going to call it quits for the night. Take a shower, clean up, come back tomorrow. This is turning out better than I thought. I've been checking the clearances pin side too, and it's actually making the bores centrifugal or centrific or whatever, fantastic. So I'm done for the night. See you tomorrow, maybe, possibly.